I did, thank you. Yeah, Karina. She's my purse holder and my stamp. Really nice to meet you. That's your interest. Thank you. Pops the color in.
I'm not sure.
Get the crit. Yeah. We need more than 5 or 6 pages for that.
It happens to all of us. It's not like they just have blonde hair.
Just wait a couple pieces.
Yeah, which we rehearsed.
family of Mark and Sihaya, welcome. And thank you for being here on this important day. We are gathered here today not only to experience the beauty of the Adirondacks and to take part in this wonderful outdoor adventure that Mark and Sihaya wanted to share with us. But more importantly, we're here to be part of the celebration of their commitment to each other. A celebration that will forever bind Mark and Sihaya in marriage. When Mark and Sihaya met, they had been on the dating scene in New York City for quite a while, but with little luck. In fact, they'd been so frustrated with dating, especially online dating, that they were both ready at that point to cancel their subscriptions to OkCupid altogether. On that first date, Sihaya fell in love with Mark's dimples. She loved how his olive shirt looked good on him. She loved the way he didn't give her a pass for being late. But he didn't leave. She loved his gaze, his thoughtfulness, and more amazingly, how quickly she felt so comfortable with him. Similarly, Mark loved that Sihaya challenged him at virtually every point he brought up. It still made him feel like everything he had to say was being taken to heart. Mark loved that they had so many interests in common, but they had completely different stories and backgrounds. Mark loved her candor and wit, don't we all? It's the heels. And of course, more importantly, he liked looking at her. A lot. A whole lot. When they discovered they only lived a few blocks away from each other, Mark walked Sihaya that night back to her apartment. They walked hand in hand. They haven't stopped walking hand in hand since. The last 4 years since that wonderful day have been filled with camping trips, cozy nights in, family time, and many road trips and adventures all over the country. Sihaya introduced Mark to new foods, gardening, space saving, while Mark introduced Sihaya to biking in ungodly weather, poetry of Ted Hughes and Mary Oliver, and alien conspiracy theories. Like every couple who makes it past the honeymoon stage, Mark and Sihaya also went through some tough times that challenged their commitment to each other and tested their ability to work out their conflicts. But through it all, they learned that their relationship's success depended more upon listening to each other and learning what makes the other tick, and less upon proving the other person wrong. One late August Sunday morning, Mark and Sihaya biked to what she thought was Mark's father's birthday brunch. Little did she know how that brunch would end. Mark disappeared. And eventually Mark's sister, Lisa, gave Sihaya a letter from him. Her heart leapt when she opened it and read the first lines of the first word. Mark's letters, each of which contained a clue that brought Sihaya to another friend or family member, led her through Central Park. At the end, Mark was waiting for her at the Conservatory Gardens, a very special place for them, because that's when they had their first kiss. And 2 years later, here we are celebrating their marriage. For the next part of the ceremony, we're going to do something a little different. Because Mark and Sihaya would never have made it to this day without you, their beloved friends and family, supporting them, advising them, giving them your love. They would like to hear from you. So for the next 10 minutes or so, floor is open to anyone who would like to share a short story, comment, advice, or any thoughts from the heart.
I'll go. You guys hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. I'm not going to try not to. Okay, over the course of Chris, my wife, standing there, over the course of our 14 years together, she would mention Mark. I'd say, "Oh, Mark, your brother." She goes, "No, my dear friend Mark. You have to meet him, this, that, and the other thing." I'm like, "Oh, sounds good." So, on various occasions, Mark and I have met, and on a very nice occasion where it involved a leisure suit and Elvis karaoke, but that's another story. I remember commenting to Christine afterwards. It's like, I really like this guy. He's very warm, welcoming, cerebral, and I'm thinking, all he deserves is nothing but the best. So fast forward to a few years later when Christine tells me, pack up the car, we're going to Harlem. I'm like, Harlem? Okay. And from what I understand, that was the end of the journey through Central Park, so on and so forth. And after spending some time meeting Sihaya and friends and family, I'm thinking, easy conclusion, you guys have done good. Congratulations. So now for the advice part. Okay. If you're ever angry at one another, and it's not for someone not loading the dishwasher correctly or folding the laundry correctly, if it's more non-petty things, the one thing that we have learned is you remove the phrase "you always," "you never," and don't ever call names. And what it may mean is you may have to just quietly sit aside, maybe brood for a while, come back together later, and say what's on your mind calmly and quietly. And that way you'll allow any bad things to die and the good things to grow. So that's a little piece of advice. Now, from Isabel, Chris, and I, we wish you all the happiness and love in your journey through life together, and may you both be a source of strength for one another, because you have each other now. That's it.
Walking up here, I realized should have thought of a few words ahead of time, but I hadn't. But this is what I am thinking now. As soon as we met Mark, no, actually before that, as soon as Sihaya first mentioned Mark, it just sounded like he was the one. And when we met him, we knew he was. Nobody's mentioned this yet, Mark did something really special. Before the Central Park adventure, he called and asked for permission to marry Sihaya. So I get a call in the middle of the day at work. And just to put that in context, I work at the Department of Corrections. So most of the phone calls that I get tend to be a little different. Mark called, told me why he was calling, and I blurted out, "It's about time." There was a long pause on the end of the phone. Mark was processing that, probably wondering what he was getting himself into. And we can't be more happy than we are right now. We love you both.
So Sihaya, my sister Livy, and I, we grew up with a number of other folks who are here too, but we also happened to be together in Massachusetts the first couple of years after we all graduated from college. Sihaya was in Worcester, and Livy and I both lived in the Boston area. I was in Cambridge, and Livy lived in Brighton. And for those of you who don't know, the Charles River is like this great divide. You you can't go out in Brighton if you live in Cambridge because it's over on the other side of the river. How am I ever going to get home? So Sihaya would come, and wherever we were going out, if we went out in the Cambridge side, we'd all stay at my house, and all three of us would sleep in a full bed. And because my sister and I had spent so much time sharing a bed as kids, we refused to sleep next to each other. So Sihaya had to sleep in the middle. I just sort of sleep like this. And we had a lot of fun. We went to a lot of parties. And I think eventually we were sort of like, man, it'd be nice to share a bed with somebody of the opposite sex. And that has gradually happened over the years. And now it's Sahaya's turn. And it's pretty darn awesome. And we are so happy for you. We have seen you experience the dating world, and like your mom, I think we were all pretty sure that Mark was the one when we met him, and we were very happy that that turned out to be the case. You guys make a great pair. And we love you guys. We wish you many years of happiness.
I've known Mark now for over 20 years, and my roommate, I think I was your first roommate, Mark, out of very many. We never shared a bed, though. But it's been great to see the journey, and I'm very happy for you guys. And thank you also for making me part of and inviting me to be part of great day. Thank you, Mark.
I just want to say I just met Mark yesterday. But from what I know so far of Mark, I can tell you that his character is wonderful and excellent, and I know that he's a perfect match for Sihaya. Sorry. My heart's pounding so hard for you guys. Yeah. I just want to say, as hard as things get in your marriage, just remember it's so much easier together. Just remember. Just remember that the love is there. And just remember to keep the love there. And you can get through anything. I know from experience. So we love you guys and we're proud of you.
All right, my turn. So, I've always known Mark to be this hopeless romantic ever since I've met him. He nicknamed his car Alabama from True Romance. Yeah. And loves When Harry Met Sally. And I think he even memorized that last monologue, the Harry monologue at the very end of the movie. So I'm just really happy to be here to witness you marry your Sally, because you have such a big heart and you deserve all the best. And I'm so happy for the two of you to have been able to witness this.
So I'm Autumn. I grew up with Sihaya, and I'm also a teacher and work in the school system. And I had a couple girls that were talking and saying, "Oh, we get to go have a sleepover tonight." And I said, "Oh, I wish I had a best friend to sleep over." And I said, "Oh wait, you know what? I live with my best friend." And they go, "You do? That's awesome." And I said, "Yes, my husband." And then, but I wish that for you guys. I hope that you guys can be best friends after 10 years and really enjoy spending time together. And be happy.
So I met Mark about 10 years ago, almost to the day. We were teaching in the same school at the time, and he would come to eat lunch in what was then my classroom almost on a daily basis. There was about 5 other people also doing different jobs, and whenever he had lunch, he would pop in while we were having lessons or counseling or what have you. At the end of the year, he and we ended up going to Peru for about 3 weeks. He dropped that idea, says, hey, why don't we do something completely crazy and go to Peru? I said, what? Okay, why not? I know a little bit of Spanish. Just to get by. We ended up trekking to Machu Picchu. Now, this wasn't the version of where you take the most popular route you have to reserve 3 years in advance, so we went up the back way. That didn't come out exactly as I wanted. So, there was about 13 people in our group, 3 Dutch Marines who had arrived 3 days prior and were pretty much sick from elevation. And they were all much faster than us. Now, granted, this was my first trek, and I think this was Mark's first time in a mountain. And he and I followed the mule dung the entire way. He was there with me every step of the way. He would not leave me there, and basically, if I broke my leg, he'd probably carry me up the mountain and back down again. So, Sihaya, you lucked out. Thank you. We're honored to be here and to have our little furry son with us. Thank you so much.
I'm going to try to talk, even though I don't have a voice. I'm Mark's sister, Lisa. This isn't from partying, it's just from being sick. But I just felt the need to say something on this very important day, even if health isn't cooperating. Sihaya has fulfilled all of our lives, ever since she walked into our lives. She is, I feel like my family is, we're really tight and everyone is super nice, but we stick with each other. And a lot of times when people come in, they're super nice, but it's not an enveloping of love necessarily right away. But with Sihaya, that happened. She has been at our house for every major holiday. She is, put us to the test when my family has some crazy rules or my mom doesn't want to let go of a ton of stuff because she's kind of a hoarder. Sorry, Mom. But Sahaya's been like, you know what, let's maybe think of another way to do it. And so she's, sometimes been upfront about things that necessarily aren't things that we want to, kick under the rug every now and then. But that's been fantastic and definitely needed. And my brother's absolutely needed that in his life. But ever since the day she's come in, we've felt this enormous amount of love for you. And I think seeing this here, meeting all of your amazing family and friends is just a testament to how you have been raised by an amazing family and the kind of heart that you have. And I'm honored and so happy that my son can grow up, both of you, by his side and see just how much you guys love each other and how much love we have. And you'll see the pictures, you won't remember any of this, but of everyone kind of shivering in the cold and like hoping this would end kind of soon so that they can drink a lot of alcohol. But it's because of you, and all of us love you so much. And I'm just going to stop now, but I love you guys.
I'm Sihaya's dad, and most of you probably know that she grew up on what we call an intentional community. A lot of people would call it a hippie commune, but it was on 160 acres of wilderness. We built our own homes and everything. She was actually born before that, and born at home. And I carried her placenta up to the top of the mountain above where she was born in Piedmont and buried it, and it still sits up there. We homesteaded our land, and my favorite memory of her when she was little, she was probably 5 or 6 years old. Brianna and Autumn over there, she would play with them all the time, and they were our neighbors, but they were not like neighbors in the city. They were neighbors like a quarter-mile away, across a meadow, through forest, down up and down gullies and trails and stuff. And so at 5 or 6 years old, she would disappear to go play with her friends. So one time she was on her way over to Autumn's. She said, "I'm going to go over to Autumn's." And we called about 2 or 3 hours later, and she never showed up. And it's a big meadow with lots of flowers and things, and trees and a gully and so. So I went out to look for her, and I found her curled up among all the flowers, sleeping. It was like out of the the Wizard of Oz where they fall asleep with the poppies, and so she had gotten lost in the flowers and gotten absorbed with that, and lost on her way and found paradise, and so I thought that was pretty cool. And then we went up to see Mark and Sihaya in New York City, and my wife and daughter Luna, and they wanted to show us the city, and we said, well, we want to see the Empire State Building. So we get on this true story. How long? I don't know how long Mark's lived in New York City. How long? Long time, right? And Sahaya's lived, by that time, had lived in New York City for a long time. So we all get on, and we get to take the subway over, and we can't figure out which subway stop to get off to see the Empire State Building. So, and Mark's the one that's leading us. Of course, he's a New Yorker. He knows the way to the Empire State Building. So we finally get out one of the stops, and we start walking around. He's lost. The Empire State Building. We're like 3 blocks away from the Empire State Building. He's lost. And so we find out where the Empire State Building. He doesn't. But it was at that point I realized that he was a match made in heaven. They can spend their lives getting lost together. A more wonderful experience than that, and to stay together. The world is a very confusing place, and you can stay together and have company as you wander. The only advice I have for you, Mark, everything she says is correct. You don't argue with it, right? And the advice I have for you, Sihaya, let him have some things, believe that they're true too. He can say some things that are correct too. And then you'll be good. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for those thoughts and kind words. Myself, I've known Mark for about 20 years. 20 years. And from the time that I've known him, he's exactly what everybody says he is. He's a hopeless romantic. And I can attest to the number. Oh, that's not good. But when Mark told me about Sihaya, there was something in his voice. There was something in his voice that was different that time. And I don't know what it was. It wasn't, Chris, there was somebody I met. Chris, there is someone in my life now. And that's exactly how she came into my life. And the first time I met Sihaya, it was during that wonderful trip around Central Park. And automatically she knew who I was. And automatically we embraced, and I gave her her letter. And I knew that this was the one that he was going to be. From this day on, guys, it's going to be different. Up to this point, you've been saying yes to each other over a lot of things. From that time that we ended in Central Park at the Conservatory Gardens, you said yes, I want to be with you. And from there on, you've been saying yes to a lot of things and planning what would happen when you get married. Up to this point, you've been friends, lovers, karaoke partners, biking partners, cooking companions. But after today, it's going to be different. Because now, all those promises you made about marriage and what you're going to do when you get married, well, they're happening. Because from this day forward, you're not just going to be friends. You're not just going to be engaged. You're going to be husband and wife. On that note, Sihaya, you take Mark. Yes. Mark, you take Sihaya.
I do.
Shall we do our vows? Okay. Made me more true myself than I thought I could be. I've always been by your side. I've always been with you. Whether we're traveling together, or working out problems, or cooking dinner, or getting takeout, whatever we're doing, always listen to us. Never give up on the struggle. I'm really stubborn. I will never give up. And I promise to breathe and enjoy it when you're 60. And not constantly plan everything. And to let things go sometimes. And to take care of my health and to take care of your health. And we are script. I'll help you with your lesson plans. And I want to Game of Thrones with you a lot. And I'll indulge you in your alien stuff. Sometimes. And I'll keep making foods for you to try. And I'll continue making things like asparagus and mushrooms.
I promise to make sure you kiss before we suck. I promise to give you hugs 6 seconds or longer. I promise to avoid ever buying you roses. I promise to alert you when you're showing signs of being fixed. I promise to give you the space and time to process and recuperate after a long day. I promise to give you the space and time. I promise to trust your opinion when it comes to furniture. Because those up chairs in the living room are killer. I will take care not to leave things around for you to trip on and bump into. Because you trip on and bump into things quite often. I promise to always celebrate your Sihaya happy dance. I promise to always acknowledge, poke fun at,
and fall in love with those words you come up with that don't actually exist. I promise to do that thing that helps you fall asleep at night. I promise to say our code words whenever we have stopped listening to one another. From the day that you rode all those dozens of miles, with only a scarce few rides under your belt, to experimenting with food that you've never eaten, to running and working out, to the small projects that you do which add up to an artful, cohesive, amazing, complex, larger project, you inspire me. I am one of your biggest fans, and there are many. And I am in constant awe of the things that you are capable of doing once you put your mind and your stubbornness to them. Since we met, you have been a vital piece in virtually every success and milestone I have reached as an individual. You have become my favorite proofreader. You're a quick study, a formidable problem solver, and a much faster typist than I am. You help me see the areas that aren't working and that I need to change. You have seen me in some of my darkest and most vulnerable moments and love me still. And the confidence and faith that you have shown me time and again are what help to keep me persevering and trudging along. You are my lighthouse, my North Star, my prime meridian, my axis mundi, my baby, my hunt. And in a few moments, my wife. Our journey together takes an entirely new complexion today, and my mind, my heart, and my soul are singing and dancing. I will love you till your dying day.
Mark and Sihaya, I offer these good wishes to you on this special day. May your life together be blessed with prosperity and good health. May you always share open and honest communication between each other. May you continue to respect each other's individual talents and gifts, and give full support to each other's professional and personal pursuits. May all the years to come be filled with moments to celebrate and renew your love. And may your life and your love be filled with a lifelong source of excitement, contentment, affection, respect, and devotion for and to one another. And now for the official part we've all been waiting for since by the power vested in me by the state of New York, the Universal Life Church, it is my honor and delight to declare you husband and wife.
Mazel tov!
Ay, thank you.
Next to each other. Cheers, I know. I was trying to cough in the middle of the song, but I couldn't cough.
And thank you for being such pleasant guests. We're going to introduce the bridal party, and then for the first time, the new man and wife. Women first, you're right. You're right. I'll learn. I'm in the man. Our bridesmaids, Anna, Libby, and Betsy. Our next group of bridesmaids, Navi, Luna, and Lisa.
stops you from walking into the cliff. We, in turn, have all taken part in loving and keeping his market safe. Sihaya, see how many people in this room that takes? You're now his caretaker. In you, I see someone who will always do her best to keep Mark grounded, focused, loved, and most importantly, safe. Safeguard that Marcus. To take a line from one of Mark's favorite movies, you are now his ambassador. I see how you look at him, interact with him, and this weekend, all of those silent moments. I hope your love tomorrow is as strong as it is today. To Mr. and Mrs. Morletta, mazel mazel, good things. Cheers.